Hello students. So in last lecture we have finished the dam, and today we are going to start with this retaining wall. So today we are going to start with this retaining wall. So what is retaining wall basically? What do you understand by the term that is retaining wall? So retaining wall is nothing but it is the structure that is basically meant to retain the any material, okay, the material that is soil or any other material, whatever the material is there, but it is only meant to retain the soil. So generally the students are confusing about the two wall, that is retaining wall, and one is that is the breast wall. So let's so I would like to clear your doubt regarding these 2 points first. So consider there is a one hilly area like this. Just so it is a hilly area like this. Now we have to construct the road over here, over this. We would like to construct the road over there. So what we need to do, we have to construct the one retaining wall over here. So what we have to do, we need to construct, sorry, we need to construct a one retaining wall over here, and we have to remove whatever the material is over here. So this material, sorry, from this, so we have to remove whatever the material from over here. So this material needs to be removed, okay, and here by removing this material we have to construct the road over here. So we have to construct a road over here. So if the width of road is large, okay, so if the width of road is large, let's say the width of road is large like that. So here the width of road like this, then what we need to do, we have to construct the another retaining wall over here, and we have to dump some soil over here. So here in this region we have to dump some soil from outside. So this two wall, here there is a one wall and here there is another wall. So this naturally constructed whatever the wall is there, here the naturally the wall which retain the natural material, that wall is known as a retaining wall. So this wall is retaining wall. And the wall which resists this artificially dumped material, that wall is known as a breast wall. So you have to remember this two important term, and you have to understood the concept behind this two term. Basically it will be helpful to you somewhere in the field or in the future. Okay guys, so we have to solve or understood the concept of this retaining wall. So what is this retaining wall? So retaining wall, that is structure that is basically meant to retain the soil. So the soil will exert some pressure over this retaining wall, and that pressure is known as a lateral earth pressure. So generally you will study this lateral earth pressure in detail in subject that is named as soil mechanics. So in this soil mechanics you will study the deep study of this lateral earth pressure. There is a one active earth pressure, there is a one passive earth pressure, there is a one earth pressure at the rest, there is a Rankine's theory for the earth pressure, there is a Coulomb theory for the earth pressure. All these things, various cases of this computation of earth pressure, soil is submerged, soil is saturated, so many cases are there, that all you are going to learn in this subject, that is the soil mechanics. Here we have to just keep this point mind, that is what is this earth pressure intensity. So the intensity of earth pressure, that is Ka into gamma into h. H is the height up to which the soil is retained. Ka, that is the coefficient of this active earth pressure, and it will be equal to 1 minus sine phi upon 1 plus sine phi. Now how these equations are derived, how it will be come, that all thing you have to study in the soil mechanics. Here we are not going to derive this equation. This equation is derived using this Coulomb's theory that you will do in the soil mechanics. Here we are not going to discuss it. Okay, so here we have to keep these equations in our mind, and we have to compute this lateral earth pressure that acting on the retaining wall. Another one, that is the self weight of the wall, that already we have seen in the dam. Same way we have to compute the self weight for the retaining wall also. So here let's start with this concept. Okay, so here the soil pressure, so whatever the total pressure will be, what that will be nothing but the area. So area will be 1 by 2 Ka gamma h into height h. So this will be the equations for the total pressure that acting in over the soil. Okay, so that thing you have to keep in your mind. Okay, so let's move next. Same whatever we have do, there is a wall, trapezoidal wall, how to find the CG, that already we have seen in the dam. Then how to find this Z, that already we have seen in the dam. Then how to compute this sigma maximum and sigma minimum, that already we have seen in the dam. So the same thing that we have to do, that whatever we have done in the dam, that things we have to do in the retaining wall also. Okay, so again we'll see what see this figure, what is given, how to represent this figure, that we'll see. Okay, so in this figure what is given, so up to this height the soil is acting in the dam. The soil is dumped in the retaining wall up to this height, just like a dam. In the dam there is a water filled up to this height, in this there is a soil dump up to this level. Okay, and what is this? Here it is a from this here it is a dam. So here what is it? It is a dam, and here there is a retaining wall. So here it is a retaining wall, in the dam it is dam, and in the dam, behind the dam there is a water, in the retaining wall, behind the retaining wall there is a soil. Okay, so that thing you have to keep here. What this? It is the base width for the dam. Here it is a minimum pressure, here it is a maximum pressure. These are the diagram for this combined stresses. Now the resultant force R that is acting at this point. Here the CG, that is CG line, is over here. So this distance is known as a eccentricity. So it is the eccentricity E. Here it is a B by 2, half the width. Okay, so that thing you have to keep in your mind. H star, that is the height of the soil, and H here is the total height of this retaining wall. Okay, here PS, that is the soil pressure which is acting at this H star height divided by 3. Okay, so these things you have to keep in your mind to solve the example based on the retaining wall. So we'll start the example based on this retaining wall in the next lecture. So let's keep this lecture up to here only. Let's learn what we have studied in this lecture: the concept of the retaining wall for the direct and bending stress. What is retaining wall, that we know. There is another wall, that is the name, that is students are confusing about that wall. So let's solve the concept behind that also. That is the name is the diaphragm wall. You have heard this name, that is the diaphragm wall. So what is the concept behind this diaphragm wall? So generally diaphragm wall are constructed to construct the ground basement parking. બેઝમેન્ટ સ્ટોરીના કન્સ્ટ્રક્શન્સ માટે આપણે ડાયાફ્રામ વોલ કન્સ્ટ્રક્ટ કરવી પડે. જનરલી એમાં પહેલાં આ રીતે આપણે એક જે છે ડાયાફ્રામ વોલનું કન્સ્ટ્રક્શન કરીએ છીએ. આફ્ટર ધી કન્સ્ટ્રક્શન ઓફ ધીસ ડાયાફ્રામ વોલ, હિયર there is a soil. So here it is a soil. So here this is the soil. Okay, so this portion is soil. So after the construction of this diaphragm wall, what we can do? We can excavate this soil and we can construct this basement. So otherwise, if the diaphragm wall is not there, then what happen? This soil will tends to slide over this. So if the diaphragm wall is not there, what happen? So we have excavated up to this height, and what happen? This soil, this side also there is a soil, this side also there is a soil. So what happen? This soil will tends to slide down. So that's why we need to construct this diaphragm wall first, and after that we can do the excavation, and we can construct this basement. So the basic difference between the diaphragm wall and the retaining wall is what? In retaining wall, we are retaining the material after the construction of wall, and here in diaphragm wall, what happen? The material is removed after this construction of wall. The first wall is constructed, then excavation is done, whereas in retaining wall, the first wall is constructed and the dumping is done. Okay, so we are keep this lecture up to here. In next lecture we are going to start the example based on the retaining wall. Thank you everyone.